Hello.
You said it was Cuba. What happened?
Okay.
We're running out of time. You can stop all this now.
Okay. I'm gonna pop something in the oven now that we got everything set up. And since it's a rated M game, I'm gonna smoke. Fuck it. Be right back.
Who were you working for? You just have to remember.
All right.
Perhaps this station will hold the key to the real goals of Group 935. I still do not trust my unconventional allies, but they are of great use to me. But I digress. Who would have thought the this station? Where did that little girl disappear to? Only time will
Maybe someone should go turn on the power now! Oh, I found the rock! Great! think Dempsey is right. It is a bit fishy. You know how to say owned in Russian? Owned! You see what happens when you touch Nikolai?
I'm gonna get good and high before we get super far into this. I don't want to keep pausing. I just figured I'll get through the easy first couple levels, rounds, holy shit. And, yeah. I have food cooking too, so as soon as that's done, I'm gonna scarf it down and play some more zombies. What should we talk about? I was kind of thinking of putting one of my picture-in-picture, like what I'm watching on YouTube on my second monitor, underneath my little camera down there, and allow people to watch that with me while I play zombies, because I don't know. I'm sure as zombies gets further and further, I'll have things to talk about, but I don't want to just sit here and wait for somebody to come in to start yapping, because I don't know. I don't use Twitch. I don't watch much of it. Streamers? I don't know. I don't watch many streamers. That's probably a better way to put it. So I don't know what people like, or what I need to kind of do to pull people in here. I'm not super worried about it, considering I've been just kind of streaming to myself. But I would like people to talk to while I play. I feel like that would add a lot to it, even just one or two people. Even just one. I'm not gonna push my luck. If I can get one person in here to yap with, that'd be great. Trying to carve my way into a community. I just want to be. I remember being part of the gaming community as a kid, uploading YouTube videos, and like it was just a lot of fun. You didn't really think about it too much. We just kind of did it, and people showed up. Like, I would love to be able to find my old clips, but I'm pretty sure I had gotten enough to have a friend make a montage for me in the old Call of Duties. So, I mean, that was me dipping my toe into being a part of a gaming community. Holy shit, I can't speak. And it was just such a good feeling to see like people be like, "Oh, great clip, I love that," like something, and then being able to have a conversation with them afterwards. Like, I don't use Discord anymore, but I would probably get back into it if Like there were people
Why am I so heavy now?
with like minds, you know, maybe want to create something together.
Not touchy! I have missed you. A shotgun! Now I just need a shot glass! That now! You were dead before! Ah, fuck you! Good health spawns! Die!
I'm not sure which way to go.
Running low on ammo! I'm drunk. Taste communist aggression, filthy worm train! It's that
Alright, now I'm gonna smoke. God, this old Call of Duty, it's so fun. I don't know what, like, new Call of Duty Zombies, I had a lot of fun with it. The first couple of prestiges. But I don't know. The zombies kind of lost me as more and more maps came out. The first two I actually liked. The town could have been a little darker. That's like the complaint everybody has about it though. So I don't really have much to add there. Fucking hope the next one's fun. I'll play it through Game Pass again. I'm never... I don't want to say that. I'll probably never buy another Call of Duty again. But if I can play it through Game Pass, I'll play it until I get bored of it. But at that, with Game Pass, I'm not just playing COD. Never. I hope the next Zombies is good. It looks like they're bringing back the old crew, which is cool. But fuck that if they actually use, like, AI instead of the voice actors, cause no. I'm pretty sure Steve Blum, or Bloom, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, I think he voices Dempsey, and he's in a ton of shit. So, I hope he would have a problem with that. I hope he's allowed to have a problem with that, because, I don't know, he doesn't own Dempsey, that's the thing. And it looks like each one of the old crew are from a different time period, with Takio being, from like the 1500 feudal Japan era. which then makes it not the same Takio. I don't know how that works, and I wonder if that means he's not going to speak English. Because I don't know why he would know English. But it is a game about zombies. So. I hope they bring some of that dark, old feel back. Then, if they're actually bringing the old crew back. It seemed like they were starting to understand, but I just lost interest with the newer maps. Excuse me.
Happen. I don't know. I certainly started to believe that the landing case happened, and all of a sudden they're talking about meeting with presidents and all this other stuff, and yeah, I kind of threw me off the case, and I was thinking to myself, was that an intentional thing to throw people off? Like, you take an incident that most likely happened, and then you throw a bunch of crazy, unsubstantiated stuff in there to throw people off. Who knows? But unfortunately, a guy named Paul Shartle, who worked at Norton Air Force Base,
security.
yeah, that was, excuse me, early '60s. So what happened was they were doing that. They were shooting that documentary, UFOs, Past, Present, and Future, and they were having an unprecedented level of access granted to them by the government. It was quite remarkable. They were going on all these military bases. And go watch the movie. It's incredible. Colonel Coleman at the time was either press liaison for the Pentagon or press officer, but in any case, and he basically called the various bases. Hey, there's a film crew coming. Alan Sandler's got Bob Emenegger. Give them full, access and show them around the base. Doing an interview about UFOs, and so Paul Shartle got that message like, hey, these guys are showing up, and they did at Norton Air Force Base, and Paul had just processed film footage of a landing of a disc at Holloman Air Force Base, and Paul showed it. Unfortunately, Emenegger wasn't filming that day at the base, but Alan was there. So Paul pulls Alan into the screening room and shows him this footage of a landing, and Paul Shartle's convinced it's a legit landing, and so I'm investigating this whole thing, and I'm talking to Emenegger about it, and then it's revealed that Alan was shown this footage, and I have this thing, and I've talked about this before, and I did this with firing this guy, Travis Walton. I remember the first time I met him, I will sometimes close my eyes and I'll get their words to create the imagery in my head. So it's like I'm almost experiencing it through their eyes. So I'll close my eyes and let the words create the imagery. So I'm watching like a film strip as opposed to like listening to words, do you know?
Yeah.
So I did that with Alan, and I said, okay, Alan, and I asked him every possible detail you could ever imagine because I wanted to see that footage as best I possibly could. So I was like, let me get this straight. Alan, you're telling me that you saw the footage of the landing at Holloman? Yes. How did you see it? He's like, well, Paul Shartle pulled it out and showed it to me. I was like, why didn't Emenegger see it? He wasn't with me that day. Okay. So then what happened? He goes, well, he said it was like 3 discs at a high altitude, maybe 9,000 feet. And they were escorted by military jets. I don't know if he said 1 jet or multiple jets. I don't know. But the 3 discs, I know for sure. I remember that for sure. 3 discs coming in, and it's late afternoon. It's either early morning, late afternoon. I think it was late afternoon. 3 discs coming in at high altitude. They get over the base. 2 of them peel away. And then the third one in the middle oscillates down, and Alan goes, yeah, it was like it was in trouble or something. It wasn't flying that well. And I'm thinking to myself, that's how they fly when they're going slow. They do this like a leaf kind of falling. And he said the disc came down wobbling like it was in trouble. And he goes, James, it landed. And I said, okay, was it on a tripod? Yes. He goes, I think the camera was on a tripod because it wasn't handheld. It looked like they were anticipating something going down, or maybe they were filming some other exercise. They were ready. But he goes, yeah, it was locked.
It seemed like they knew this was happening.
Or they were filming something else. I can't remember. I wish I could remember that detail, and I should remember that detail, but I don't. But in any case,
jets escorting, and it would seem that way. It seems a little too perfect.
That I don't know for sure. I wish I could. Anyway, so the disc comes down, and he goes, James, and I said, well, did it have a tripod landing? Did it have pods? Like, what did it land? He goes, James, I don't remember, but it was firmly sitting on the ground. And this is the part I remember really well. He goes, James, like in a sci-fi movie, there were no seams. Like this door just opens up and drops to the ground, and there's stairs. And 2 beings come out, and they flank either side of the staircase. And then a third one comes out, and he said it had like, and Alan was convinced that this was a real flying saucer with real technology, not a special effect, but that they took a real flying saucer and dressed people up like aliens as a staged event, which I don't believe that, but whatever. That's a side note. And Alan goes, yeah, just like in the sci-fi movie, this thing opens up. There are no, like you couldn't see a door there, and it just opens and drops. Staircase, 2 guys get out. They flank the staircase, and then a third gentleman gets out, and he said he had like a tight-fitting suit on. He had a big nose, tiny mouth, not much of a chin, big eyes with vertical slits. And then he had this like headgear, almost like Egyptian headgear. And then he had and this is what Alan told me. He had like some kind of device that he assumed was supposed to be a translator device, a communication device. Didn't know for sure, and he was met by people in uniform, dressed, military officers in uniform. I was like, "What happened then?" He goes, "Well, they met this one individual, and he went over to a Jeep, got in the Jeep, and off they drove." And then the film footage ends. I said, "The film footage ends with the disc just sitting there on the ground?" He's like, "Yeah." So I find this out, and I mean, quite honestly, I was like, "Holy shit!" Because I was starting to believe that case had happened because I investigated the Socorro landing case that happened in April 24, 1964, and with a police officer named Lonnie Zamora, and I was really sticking my teeth into that case over a 5-year period. Now, Holloman's just a stone's throw from Socorro, right? By the crow, as the crow flies. Well, I absolutely believed in the landing and the close encounter of the third kind in Socorro, which is one of the most well-documented close encounters of third kind in U.S. history. Why not have happened something similar at the base? Why not? I have to be open to that. So I'm sitting there going, wow. So then I'm talking to Emmeniger about it. I'm like, Emmeniger, so I said, well, Alan, why didn't you ever tell Emmeniger? And I actually have video of a phone call that I made. I have it somewhere. I should dig it up. Where I called, I was with Alan and I called Emmeniger, or I was with Emmeniger and I called Alan, because I was like, why is it that you didn't tell the partner that you were doing the documentary with back in 1972 that you were shown the footage by Paul Shartle? He's like, well, some men in suits showed up
Here we go.
either later that day or first thing the next morning, took the footage from Paul Shartle, took it away, gone, and like, and so Alan didn't tell his own partner that he'd seen it until years later, but I have him on camera. So then I was talking to Emmeniger about it, and I said, well, Alan thinks it was a real flight officers that had that technology in 1972, but there was a staged event with people looking like aliens. And Emmeniger's like, bullshit, no. I said, why do you feel so adamant about that? He goes, because I knew Paul Shartle. I actually talked to Paul Shartle about it. I talked to the guy that processed the film footage at Norton Air Force Base. And he goes, in fact, and he dug it up, he did a search for Paul Shartle and Robert Emmeniger on some TV show in the either late 70s or early 80s. And he died in a car crash, Paul Shartle with his wife. A head-on car collision, they both died. But before that happened, he gave an interview, and he talked about why he believed that was a legitimate UFO landing that was captured on film footage. In fact, I've talked to people about it within the government recently. Like, you should go after that footage. I think it exists. In fact, I can put you in touch with a guy who's seen it.
That's the Holy Grail.
That's the Holy Grail.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That answers another question, like what's the thing, and that's it. That's it.
Well, in terms of
multi angles, I mean,
in terms of a case that happened on a military base, boy, that's pretty damn good.
It's pretty damn good, especially considering that the cameras were in focus enough and had the quality enough to notice that the seam appeared on the craft, and that's a big detail for me because when filming something like that with these old cameras, you'd expect fuzzy, grainy, but if you can tell from that footage that the seam opened, that means you can probably see the expression on those beings' faces. Like that's a heck of a claim.
Yeah, I know. So it's a remarkable case. But Varginha is also, because it's more recent. Yeah, in '96.
And that does have something to do with people's ability to believe in the story as well, right? That holds some importance.
It's the preponderance of eyewitness testimony. Pretty much, I mean, if you go to the town of Varginha, Brazil, which is about 4 hours north of Sao Paulo, chances are if you go down to the main square and you start talking about it, they'll either have, especially if they're older, a first-hand knowledge, or like, oh, my cousin, my brother, my mom,
That was actually a question for later coming up in the Discord by Nelson. He wanted to know. He was like, he loved Moment of Contact, and Nelson, he's a great friend. He's the memory champion I told you about. But
all right, I'm gonna grab my food real fast, scarf it down, and then we're gonna continue playing some COD.
Found that, like many of us, fascinating. At the very beginning, it kind of caught you off guard how forthcoming just the local citizens were about this.
And knocking on doors.
You would just ask people, and they had answers for you. Can you elaborate on that? Like, is there a lot that you left out of those interactions?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you shoot hundreds of hours of interviews, and you got to whittle it down to an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 45 minutes, maybe. that's a really tough decision, right? I mean, I call it killing your darlings. I mean, there's so many GMs in there that you just can't squeeze into a movie, and it's heartbreaking. In fact, at some point, I think I might be. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I think I might be probably sitting on the biggest archive of interviews over the last 30 years because I've made so many documentaries and there's so much content. I was actually talking to some people the other day. I might have been talking to Jesse Michaels. Hey, if I had some resources, not financial resource, but manpower, we can go through all my various tapes and interviews over the last 3 decades and make it all available to people. Put it out there for free.
That was my next question. I was like, when are we going to see the YouTube mashup of all this? Because as a content creator, you're sitting on a pile of gold.
I'm sitting on a pile of gold.
You know,
and I got the only interviews with them.
Wow.
A lot of people.
And that's like Roswell stuff.
Oh, yeah. Roswell. I was there filming in 1997 in Roswell. I was getting people. I remember I was kind of weird. I was only in it for 2 months at the time. But the one distinct advantage I had going to Roswell for the 50th anniversary is A, it was getting a lot of attention in the media, and B, if people were in their 20s during the experience, or maybe their 30s, they were in their 70s and 80s, right? So they were still around.
They're still there.
I must have talked to at least 15 people, maybe 20.
My goodness.
And a lot of them on camera. You know, I would just get them like, you know, just this guy was like, you know, talked about the mayor. I think it was the mayor at the time. And he said he was white as a ghost. Saw some of the stuff, and he said that they not only threatened them, I've heard this from at least 10, maybe 15 people, that they were saying they're not only going to be picking my bones out of the desert, but your family's bones. That's what they told me.
Do you think there's any credence to this? Is something I've been researching recently, but you know, just on that you mentioned, that you touched on there, the threatening of the families and everything else, and the people who work for these legacy programs. Do you think there's any validity to recruiting out of places like BYU and like Utah?
I gotta say I don't have much concrete information on that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something I've just been recently turned on to because of the nature of their faith. Yeah. They don't drink, smoke. They're straight arrows. They have large families. And there's an article put out.
Certainly makes sense.
A few years back about the FBI. There was actually, this went to court because there was a case made against the FBI that they were basically recruiting. There was discrimination for recruitment within these 3-letter agencies because they were solely pretty much recruiting Mormons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because they got large families. They're never going to talk. They never drink. They never do drugs. And, you know, they're all into like family and hiking and work, and that's it, you know? So there's something really, and, you know, when you look at Dugway, you look at all the interesting, you know, places in Utah, it kind of makes sense, you know, that BYU would be like this breeding ground for these, you know, straight arrow, white male, intelligent, you know what I mean? Because that's the whole profile of these agents, it seems like.
Well, people often mistake me for being like a Richard Dolan. You know, Richard Dolan has got a breadth of knowledge on cases far expanding, way beyond anything the cases that I know because I put boots on the ground. I mean, I went to China, I went to Australia, I went to Africa, I went to South America, I went to Russia, I went to, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And I know those cases really well because I met the witnesses. I went to the, you know, all those spots. I mean, case in point, Virginia, I mean, I'm still going there. I'm going to go there probably next month.
Well, let me stop you there.
Yeah.
So you said you're going to go there next month.
Yeah.
Is that something, is this like a continuation, or is this a personal project, or is this like
continuation?
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're saying there might be new developments?
Oh, there's definitely new developments. Yes.
That you're aware of already.
Yes. Yeah.
How
that's
long?
Where I'm going.
Did it take?
So I got half guaranteed, which is great. So if I come back with just that, it's going to be golden.
Half the documentary.
Sorry,
project.
I got half of the secured interviews that are it's phenomenal.
I understand.
Yeah, that's like locked. Okay, that's good. Now I get the other half that
you got to go there.
It'll either happen or it won't happen. If it happens, it'll make world news. But I again, who knows? Who knows? This is a tough nut to crack. But it's like I don't just give up on things. Case in point, look at Calvine. I mean, I was chasing that down for 20 plus years. I don't let it go. You know, And it's great too, because other people like David Clark is amazing. We wouldn't be talking about Calvine if it wasn't for him, you know. But I never took my eye off that case. And as soon as I read that first article, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go to Scotland. I gotta cover that because it's amazing. And new developments are constantly happening. We put in the movie, the program, if you have any information on this case, like you know, it's the same thing for Varginha. It's all these cases. I mean, they're, you know, people are starting to come out of the woodwork, and people are starting to feel a little safer. We're living in an unprecedented time right now. Witnesses are starting to feel a little more comfortable. It's more, I say mainstream, but it's more acceptable to be talking about these things. I'd like to find the pilot who was flying that Harrier jet. Duh. You think he got film footage of it? Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he also got a visit.
He probably got a visit too, but he flew all around. And I was told that because if you look at that photograph,
Yep,
you got that perfect diamond or disc, right? And I was talking to Craig Lindsay, the RAF press officer, and I was like, what do those other 5 pictures look like? And he goes, James, he goes, they were so shocked. The witnesses were so scared when this thing was hovered in the air. They didn't know what the hell was going on. And they only got the courage up when the military jet came in. And what the military jet did, according to Craig Lindsay, who interviewed them and saw all the other prints, is that they took the camera up from under the bushes and they snapped 5 or 6 pictures as the military jet did a complete pass all the way around this disc, right? So whoever was flying that Harrier jet got a really good view.
Best view.
Got the best view of it. Flew right towards it and then flew around it. And then went back. So where's that radar data? Where's the visual, like gun cam footage? Like, whoa, this case is just getting going here.
That's some Independence Day stuff right there.
So let's just say that he was in his 30s, because most fighter pilots are pretty young, right? So let's just say he was let's say he was 35.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was it? How long ago was that case? 34 years? He'd be 65?
Yeah.
So let's say he's probably between 65 and 75. That's a pretty comfortable. So you know what? And they're usually pretty healthy.
Still time.
So he's out there. And if you are out there and you're listening to this, please get in touch with us.
You know, it's something I'm learning from you as like a content creator, as like a pseudo documentarian myself. I'm learning the tenacity that you have is just really important for this field, because as someone who's used to in the past really churning out content and sort of like the second I press upload is the second I need to forget about it and focus on the next thing, right? So I have to reprogram myself to stick with something and not just go with the immediate thing and post it. I got to sit on things. I got to do my homework and go there and take my time. And I want to thank you for teaching me that. That's really, really valuable lesson for me.
And sometimes it's okay. Like when I did Out of the Blue, and I don't know if I told you this, but I was like, you know, when is a project ever done, right? Usually you're out of money, you're out of steam, you're exhausted. Usually it's out of money. But I remember we were probably 4 years into Out of the Blue, maybe 3, had a screening. I'm watching people fidget. That's bad. Looking at their watches, checking out their phones, tying their shoelaces, you know.
At the screening. Oh, yeah.
Not good. And they all left and they kind of patted me on the shoulder. Hey, nice job, James. I knew what, the film was not ready for prime time. So I went back at it and I remember I fell into this really dark place, like it's so depressing. It's like, you feel like you're just climbing this mountain. It's never going to end. Like, how can I'm in a ring with a monster and I'm trying to figure out how to win the next round, right? And I sank down into the couch after the screening and I got really depressed and I slept with my clothes on at my dad's house. Then I woke up the next morning and I was like, pick myself up at the bootstraps. I'm going back at it. So I spent 2 more years on Out of the Blue. It was a lot better. I got it to a much better place, but it still wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. But I remember my partner, Boris, and his wife is yelling at me that he was in a fetal position crying because we were pushing each other so hard and we were broke. And she's like, you're killing my husband. You know, she was really angry with me, looking at me like I'm the devil. You know, so I was like, okay, I better release this movie. But I released it. In the back of my mind, I was like, that movie's not done. And then I got a letter in the mail 3 years later. I sold it to NBC Universal, and they were like, Mr. Fox, just want to inform you, we decided not to renew our broadcast option. I was like, yes, I own it again. So I got it back, and then I went back at it for 2 more years. Like that.
Wow.
And then it still wasn't quite what I wanted it to be, but it was a lot better. And then I tried it again with I Know What I Saw. Sold I Know What I Saw. It was a 2-hour special to the History Channel. Again, broke, so broke I could barely even afford to pay attention when I finished that movie. I was so broke, and I remember my credit card was maxed out, and I had like a $70,000 credit card debt, and I was so like barely making that monthly payment, right? And I mean, barely making the skin of my teeth, and I was like 2 days late, and they jacked up my interest rate to double or triple, whatever it was.
Yikes.
And I called the company, and I was like, "You guys, what are you doing? Are you trying to force me to like, go belly up on this?" I was like, default on my loan. I said, I was barely making the payment at that rate, and now you just tripled, you know. So this was all going on.
Kicking you while you're down.
Yeah. Anyway, so I got the kicking you while you're down, and I got the I Know What I Saw sold. In the back of my mind, I was like, it's not what I wanted it, you know.
You've always had that. I'm not done with this.
Not satisfied. It just wasn't like, you know, you have a concept in your mind as something that you do, whether it's a painting or maybe a studio space or maybe just whatever project it is. You know, when you have that,
The vision.
The vision, you know, you have to set out to make that happen. And sometimes it aligns with the vision, and sometimes it doesn't. And in my case, it kept not. And I was like, God, I went through my 20s, and I went through my 30s, and I hit 40, and I was like, oh my gosh. I took a couple years off UFOs, and I did a film on the BP oil spill. I just just needed a break. And then when I hit 43, I was like, all right, I'm going at it one more time, and that's when I did the finale.
Blinking again! Oh, ammo!
Back to zombies. Holy shit.
Probably the best documentary out there on the subject.
I have made mess and proud.
First time I went.
Did it?
Wow. Okay.
You can feel it though. Watching that, like, I mean, it's
I
perfect.
did watch it for 2
All right, I'll get up already. Sheesh.
It was so traumatic. Getting that film close to finishing line, and then right when I finished it, we were going to have, for the first time in my whole career, we were going to have a theatrical release, and I could barely drive in the car track.
You cannot even beat a drunk Soviet.
I was like, no. Like, no. I remember myself kind of crying, we both were kind of crying.
Fuck.
Udem Zdrovi. Let's stay healthy.
You get to see the final product. And as someone who's
You know how to say owned in Russian? Owned!
and not only the work, the emotional sort of ups and downs that you have to decide to get the work done. And that weighs heavy when the project ends, because now you have to
No touchy!
analyze baggage
I have issued.
away, and it just hits you like a truck. And then you got to somehow pick yourself up and do it again. And so, it you know, as a creator myself, it's commendable. I take my hat off to you. It's definitely something that is easy and, you know, on top of traveling and everything else. And you know, there's just so many factors that go into making such a monumental project, and it doesn't go unnoticed. I want you.
Oh, thank you.
To know that.
My son, who you
Come, baby, we do the 59, eh?
when Ollie was born, I didn't even have a bank account because
The 59.
I saw issues happen. It was horrible, and I fought it.
God, I love how this sounds.
I remember like check for like $1,500, and I was so stoked. I went to go get the money the next day to pay off my phone bill and all this other stuff. And
Oh, there you
I
are.
was like, sir, you're zero balance. Zero balance.
Die, demon hell pigs!
So there's like 3-year period where I didn't have a bank account. I remember I was
Getting
like,
some
"No, no,
weird
dude,
lag.
you don't have a bank account? What are you talking about? I don't have a bank
That's
account?
insane.
How do you not have a bank account? What is wrong with you? You know? I was like, look, man, it is what it is right now.
I'm gonna-
getting through it. I'm doing the best I can. All right,
That's
relax.
wild.
Yeah, I swear to God.
That is
Remember people are really
Quit.
years ago?
Fix the settings, make it feel
Yeah, it is crazy.
better.
all right. I got a few other questions here I want to get to before we get into some like.
My favorite color is blue.
Okay.
Dark
You said it was Cuba. What happened in Cuba?
I wanted to talk about a little bit about we touched on this earlier, and you touched on it with the Men in Black, how you were kind of uncomfortable with the term Men in Black because it's a little cliche. Aside from that, what is one sort of mischaracterization or one misconception within the public's view of the phenomenon or of UFOs that you would like to erase? That if you could think of it, like, I just erase it from people's minds.
Couple. One right off the top. Why is it always happening in the desert in the United States? Let's see. I cover a case in Australia, Africa, South America, Chile, like England, Russia, China, like, Canada, Alaska, across the United States. This is a global phenomenon. That's one thing for sure. Second thing is, people think that the witnesses are just looking for a limelight. If people had a behind-the-scenes look at what it took for us to make Moment of Contact and to get those people to come forward, we worked on them for years, just to find them. And then we'd meet with them, and they're like, "How did you find me? How did you know? I'm never care how much money you offer me. I've never done.
We should go find the power box.
And then some of them were like, at the end of the day, we're going to get an anonymous, get them to appear anonymously. It's the better the witness, the more compelling the case, the less likely the people are ever going to want to come forward. And that's just a fact.
It's feeling really weird.
Wow. Is there any, has there ever been a moment
You bring me great honor.
You were so close and it was like a big thing?
Yeah.
Slipped out of your hand.
The alien footage.
Of Virginia?
I have finished. None shall remain.
You had a hard time. Kidding me? But you didn't see the footage.
Nope.
You had the
So,
footage in your hand.
See how I can talk about this.
Holy.
Well, okay. So I want to talk about this without revealing the details because
course.
we're going back. We found we talked to a number of doctors face to face that saw the footage. Okay. And not only saw the footage, but were friends with the individual who took the footage. And this is just one in particular. That was on the medical side. That was on the doctor's side in the Humanitas Hospital. So we went after the individual. Unfortunately, the individual had died. Something happened. This was all spanning over probably a 2-year period, longer. We went to the individual's house and talked to the wife, and the wife was somewhat dismissive initially, but then we went back with testimony from the other fellow doctors, talked about it, and the wife was talking to our my partner Marco, like the Loomis bug, and was like, I don't know what you mean.
A drink that requires a mature parrot.
No, there's nothing here. There's the hard drive to Marco, and now he's got the hard drive.
What shape was it? Is it a USB?
Just an old.
I will end their suffering.
Probably a 20-year-old.
On this day, tormented soul.
But so we're like, oh my god. So, we're hours outside of Sao Paulo, driving around, and I'm like, we need to get to someplace secure and back that thing up immediately. It's like you're driving 4 days, like this could be the biggest. So this is happening, and so it's encrypted. And
I found a piece of the meteor.
nobody can do it in that area, so we went back to Sao Paulo. Cost a lot of money, salary for a whole month to do a deep dive and drive. We were pretty convinced that we had it because we knew beyond a shadow of doubt this guy.
Focus.
All the other doctors saw footage, described it. And so we were overwhelmed with excitement. Got the whole thing encrypted and so, but that we thought we had it. We really did.
Mm-hmm.
We were, but that led to other. other individuals that we need to go see a couple of hours after that happened, and so it's quite worried. We know doctors who shot it, who had it for sure, and he had it suddenly. So that footage is somewhere. It didn't just do what format. So that was one. And there was another individual, I can't release the name, and it's an official individual, but that photograph, and I haven't described what was seen in the photograph. This is an official, this is not a civilian. And we talked to this individual, one of the aliens.
Strike was weak.
Fireman.
Double points.
So if you're working for the fire department, you're actually
Double the honor.
for like you're still military.
Fuck.
Military. Police officer, military.
I feel like I have something stuck in my throat.
And he showed the footage, showed the photograph to me, and then I spoke to the individual.
I have no
He
ammo.
has the photograph.
I have no honor.
Described what the photograph showed, and we thought we were going to get it that day. We didn't, but again, like we said, it was one
Yeah, maybe it's okay if they change Tokyo a little bit.
fireman in the photograph, close in the background of the yes.
Oh.
Some of the research that we've done in terms of how, because there were a couple of captures. There was probably more than that. We only had good solid leads on 32 or 3 of the captures. One
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Treason
I can't die that early.
and
Get me out of here.
capture from the fire department of net. Yeah, and knew someone catching wild animals, and we did that. And we talked to one of the individuals that was involved with the operation.
You had an unhappy ending.
Oh my god.
You kill me? No, I kill you.
Jesus Christ, Tokyo. You fucking...
There was some evidence
Vengeance waits for no ammunition.
directly describing the genre of music.
You should look for more
walking
ammunition.
stereotype? Is that what that would be called?
Again, I don't know. We only had
At what point during
Back up. Oh no. You put 2 bullets in.
disturbing
Or rounds, shells.
the investigation
I'm still better off than with the Arasaka.
were you close to this information?
What?
Was this towards the end, or was this like in the heart of it?
closer to the end. So,
Might be able to get through
Yield
this.
the fist of the Emperor.
And then buy that gun.
it's like, you know,
This is lighter than a feather, but more than twice as deadly.
whether you believe a UFO crash or live aliens were captured, I totally understand your ambivalence to believe it's a big story. But I would ask your audience if you can suspend judgment, imagine for a moment that it did happen. You know, it's a very significant event, right? So, but sometimes you doubt yourself, like particularly early on. Like, okay, so I was like, there's no way that happened. There's no way live aliens want to down the Russian ground. The whole world not. It's impossible.
You
Sorry.
dismissed it.
I dismissed it for 10 years. Didn't even look at it.
Being someone who's already on
Oh, supper for you.
Absolutely.
okay, so you can understand how a skeptic might.
Absolutely. I started looking into it maybe 2011. With Morgan, a Air Force general by the name of Jose.
Impressive.
Air Force.
You will not stop until you are all destroyed.
Got an interview.
Oh no.
Not on this day, tormented soul.
I need that max ammo.
Return to darkness.
Give me that shit.
You talk about Virginia. This is Virginia.
Oh, blessings come from above.
Alright.
Brazilian Air Force guys.
Alright. I think we will go down to the theater in a second.
Shut all the equipment off. All the
I
audio.
have my Olympia back, so that's good.
And I was like, please.
feel naked without Juggernaut, so don't want to waste too much time. Too many points.
I cursed beast! You had an unhappy ending!
He didn't say anything. He didn't respond. We followed him all the way back to the car. Marco was right there with me. He gets in the car. The door's still open in the back seat. The driver's sitting there waiting.
Goddamn.
And he looks
Ear
up
got
at Marco
itchy.
and he goes, "It happened."
Oh.
I found another
Where's the
rock.
fucking... There it is.
Oh, this from Japan. I have finished non-Chardonnay. The snake that sticks out gets hammered down.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. And I don't expect anyone to even believe that that happened. But it happened to me and Marco, and that kind of shows.
That's one of my next
Damn
questions.
it.
Actually, have you ever come close to abandoning something, and then what kept you going? And there you go. That is like, you know, I have this question I ask to people a lot, and I think this might be the answer to that, but I'm going to ask it anyways. But is there a moment, or and
Where
not-
you at?
Not the first moment where you tell yourself,
There you are.
this changes everything.
Yeah, I mean, so I did this thing on Reddit recently, and it was basically the first time that remember Soul Foundation.
They will fall before me. I fear no dog.
Done before. I want to get all the various platforms, communities, Reddit, all coalesced. She did.
Die, demon spawn.
Red Dot will
Cool.
2017 to 2020.
Kind of low on
Tide keeps in our
points,
favor.
so I'm gonna wait. Again, if anybody's here, I'm not good at zombies. I used to play these games when I was young, and I just picked this up, so I'm very rusty. And I have never known how to be good, so... Oh, fuck.
Strike is weak.
Always welcome some tips.
And so, and they were like,
There is no victory, only death.
then we'll switch over to
Your evil cannot infect the honorable.
Logan, and then
We will not stop.
No, no, no,
till
no,
you
no,
are
no,
all
no, no.
destroyed.
questions, and then
Die, foul creatures. Cannot survive this. You bring me great honor.
I got because I hadn't thought about this
Damn.
This weapon will be useless without bullets.
claim that you were sitting in with,
I will use my bare hands.
I'm guessing Rubio.
Was that the last one?
That will hold them up for a while. Oh, sounds like a big monster. He's attacking the building.
Don't say it, I swear to God.
This water makes me pure delight.
Describe the atmosphere.
Alright.
And he's like, wow, you know, he put his thing up. It's all before. You can look it up on the Reddit.
I don't know if I remember where that last rock is. I think it's in here, but
Go watch it in its entirety.
At James C. Fox.
not entirely sure. Gonna link the pad.
Can you put us in the room and tell us what the atmosphere?
I don't know why I didn't do that before killing the guy.
It's a tough thing to get your mind around.
It's all good.
With it, coming from
I think it's 5k to upgrade anyway.
You kill me? No, I kill you.
experiences and their background and all that.
Bro, there's a fucking hair in my ear.
Certainly, it makes it hard to go to sleep at night,
Itching.
for a good while.
What did the senators? Did they have a sort of slack-jawed appearance as well, or was it just?
No, I mean, I don't think any of us fell on the floor, in anguish or anything, but it was very serious and very sobering. And there was, just rapt attention to what was being said and trying to absorb it. Yeah.
Pausing is gonna get me killed.
Did you get the impression that they were scared?
I don't know if I should have done that. I can.
Not on this day, tormented soul.
It is helpful. Double tap. It's kind of like powered up. I powered up my weapon, but without powering it up at all. Where is quick reload? I forgot. I think it's through here. Fuck it, I'm gonna spend some points.
Afterwards, he was like, "I had a hard time coming home and like processing.
I could have sworn. Oh, I hear it.
Oh God, this changes
I
everything."
found the last
And
piece.
when I was investigating,
It's the last
I
one.
have discovered a grand
Awesome.
secret.
Fuck.
True warrior, no weapon. Foul creature. I will rid the earth of this plague.
I'm getting low.
I cursed beast. I will soon need ammunition.
No.
I have no ammo. I have no
Fuck, fuck, fuck.
path of the virtuous gives great gifts. You had an unhappy ending. I will blast them apart. You're purified.
Fuck it.
Nice timing. Return to darkness. Focus. Give him a hand. rotten sushi.
No, 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 no. Okay.
Strike was weak. Not on this day, comment its all. Continual strength. I shall continue. Cannot survive this.
I remember talking to various composers who I go to good sites to
God, what a good song, right?
and I remember describing to a couple of different
That thing cannot ever have been human.
amazing guys.
I will use my bare hands.
Just imagine, you guys. Imagine taking the cloth of reality. I want the audience to be where that individual was.
Have been purified. You kill me? No, I kill you.
Mystery, intrigue. Do you know what I mean? And alien. When I say alien, it's sort of outside of our world in the sense that it's so foreign.
I'm still better off than with the Arasaka.
Like you don't even know how to process what you look at. Put me there.
Where is
That's cool.
Le
I
Box?
remember when the children had face-to-face contact, you know, in Rua, Zimbabwe. Or
It's in the one room I haven't opened.
again, the children
I
had
think.
face-to-face contact. Like when you made eye contact with that creature, God, damn
But
it,
I do
True
want
warrior
this.
needs no weapon.
big communication. Did time stop? Could you hear
Speed caller, speed up your life.
Did you feel? Yes, I want the audience to feel that. I want to feel that. Yeah. I want to be there.
Eat my vengeance.
Wow, you know? I always look at take reality and just rip it all apart. And I want to feel
In
so
between rounds, I think is the time to pause, because
and it has to be
unpausing when there's zombies around and then forgetting that there are zombies around is gonna get me fucking killed.
that's, you know,
Love that.
right?
Yeah, it's unsettling.
Yeah,
It's
as it should be.
unfamiliar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit, but there had to have been
Check my
times
shug.
where there was information that was just maybe too controversial or risky to include.
Cool.
Did you ever encounter any of such?
Time is it? It is 12:12. Make a wish.
I can't like or,
World peace. I wish for world peace.
Yeah.
in, how about in,
Where the fuck?
was there anything there that you had to leave out?
There.
Oh, lots of stuff I
Take my medication.
Like I mean, for reasons of like
classifications, yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Oh yeah. Yeah, everybody, like particularly the Intel folks, had to approve everything.
Wow.
And some even had to get I'm trying to remember the acronym DOPSR,
Hmm.
but it's basically a pre-publication approval. And I believe that everybody had to do that. A lot of people that I interviewed.
Damn. Playing with that song on just makes the game that much more fun.
And then you'll see it beeped out.
It just
And
is such a good song.
Oh, I mean, we know what the word.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
it had to be bleeped out. I had to.
Where the fuck do I put this?
I mean, that's a good compromise though.
Yeah.
Like where they're like just bleep it out. You're like, but you don't even you can see him saying it.
Area 50.
Yeah, it's pretty much like.
Oh, I wonder what he's talking about.
Yeah, I don't even read lips, and I was like, I know exactly what he.
Oh my god.
And then you just lay the image of the Google Maps right over it, and I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's cute.
Yeah, right. I
That's
know.
cute that they
So
asked him to.
So funny.
Yeah, interesting. But there has been times where, like, has it ever bummed you out where you're
I'm
like,
packing a quick bowl to
I
smoke.
just got some information on crash retrieval.
I don't think anybody is here, which is fine.
And so I asked this individual that I trusted.
I don't know what to do.
He did not come to me.
I would
had not met
like-
this individual, and I was
Well,
a long time.
it's just sticking with it, I think. Over time,
And this individual.
the more people see that you are in even like the niche categories, I think people have a better chance.
Interviews every time my films come out. I'll go the rounds and do the podcast and the radio interviews. Obviously, spread the word from. Can I just say I heard it somewhere? No.
not even,
No.
not even anecdotal.
Nope. Very adamant about that. No, they'll know.
They'll know it was him.
Yes.
Whoa.
Or her.
Or her. I'm trying. Who knows them? Whoa.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And it's so funny too, because like,
That's specific.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's an unknown
Date,
piece of information.
Yeah, date, location.
I see.
Incident.
It's
you
not
know,
like a
the
broad
evidence.
sort of like, oh, we
No,
put it up
no.
on this type of trailer.
Very specific.
It is.
Yeah, very specific with the evidence, with the bodies, the craft, everything.
Whoa.
Yes, and it really jarred me. Like and you know, I'm very open, and I do documentaries, and I mean, I'm on this personal journey where I'm just really curious, and I keep wanting to get to the bottom of it. And the more I dig, the more crazy it all kind of gets. I feel like, I've been at it for 30 years now, and I feel like almost dumber than I was 30 years ago in the sense that I have more questions today than I've ever had, right?
That makes you wise, I think.
And I'm sitting there going, what the hell is going on? And the one thing that I've really learned, just because something sounds really outlandish and really unbelievable, don't have that knee-jerk response of just quick dismissal, because I've had it my whole career. Rua Zimbabwe. I heard about Rua Zimbabwe through Steven Spielberg.
Right.
Because I was making my first doc in the 90s, UFOs 50 Years of Denial, and we had a mutual friend, this woman, Janet Yang, and I was just naive enough to think, I was in my 20s, like, I'm making a documentary on UFOs? Of course Spielberg's going to give me an interview. So I went through Janet Yang, and she goes back, she goes, well, yeah, no, he's not going to meet with you. But he said, since you're doing a doc on UFOs, you should really look into this landing that happened in Africa at the school, blah, 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 blah. And I was like,
Yeah, thanks.
landing happened at a school in broad daylight, and the aliens got out of their little spaceships and talked to the kids, sure. And I didn't even I didn't spend 1 second looking into it. Can you believe that?
Wow.
And then, same thing with Varginha. I'd heard about Varginha. The first time I heard about Varginha, I was mapping out of the blue, and I had this partner, Tim Coleman, British guy, very smart. And Tim's like, I was like, hey, Bentwaters. Let's look into the March 13th, Phoenix Lights. Let's look into these other various cases. Robertson Panel, 52 Capitol, and then he goes, oh, mate, this is absolutely amazing crash case. It took place in Brazil. I don't think he used the word Virginia at the time. It was in Brazil. And these bloody aliens are walking around in the town, and I looked at them like, and I thought to myself, the wrong partner.
Oh no!
Like this guy's a freak.
He's lost his
Like,
marbles.
He's lost his marbles. Like, what was I thinking? Like, he came across as really grounded, pragmatic, intelligent, and I had a really hard time, like, even keeping him as a partner, because I was so concerned about his mental state of health. Like, that he wanted me to actually go investigate a case where live aliens are walking through the Like, this guy's clearly lost his mind. He's gone out way on the deep end. Didn't look into that case for at least 10 years. And then I remember the next time I heard about Varginha was 2011. So that would have been at least 11 years later, probably 12. And it was a guy, Jeff Sagansky, and you can look him up. Very high up in the food chain in the entertainment industry, like former head of Sony. And he's always been extremely helpful to me over the years. There's a funny connection about that, which I can talk about in a minute. But he's like, I was going to Brazil. I got invited to go speak in Brazil at a conference, He goes, "Oh, James, you went to Brazil. Fantastic. You look into the Virginia case." I was like, "The what? The what case?" With the UFO crash and the live aliens. I was like, "Oh God, not this again." So I told Jeff, I said, I had a lot of respect for him, and he was very helpful for me, and I wasn't going to like burn that bridge. But I was like, "Sure, Jeff. Yeah, I'll definitely look into that while I'm over there. Yeah, sure." Click. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to Brazil, and then I ended up meeting some witnesses, whatever. What was the guy? So I asked Jeff one time. This is interesting, and you're gonna have to help me get the name of this guy because I'm trying to remember. He was in Smoking the Bandit. He was the pool shark that played Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the guy I'm talking about. Come on, I know, right? So
Famous.
very famous.
Yeah.
Everyone, and he'll come to us in a second.
Yeah.
But he worked on a movie with him way back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and he apparently pulled Jeff aside and said,
Jackie Gleason.
Yeah. And Jackie Gleason said to Jeff, according to Jeff, told me this. I don't care what anybody ever tells you. I know for a fact that UFOs are real and the government has definitive proof. And he told him that, but he didn't get the specifics.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was taken out by the president, whatever. But he said that to Jeff way back.
Wow.
It might have been in the 70s.
Yeah, off the record.
Yeah, just like off the
passing.
record, like just so you know, like don't no matter what anybody tells you, no, 100%. I'm telling you 100%.
Have you ever looked at a case and just felt in your gut that it was real despite the lack of evidence? Like recently, has there been anything, despite there's lack of evidence, but has anything told you, man, this feels like it might have happened? Is there anything like that recently that's come across?
Recently.
Like in the last maybe 10 years, has there ever been something that you're like, there's not a lot here,
Yeah,
but something tells me.
O'Hare is pretty good.
Yeah, the airport sighting.
2006, I think that was.
Yeah.
That's pretty compelling. A photograph was taken.
Yeah, apparently.
And it's out there somewhere.
There's got to be more than one, too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Imagine if it happened
Cameras.
nowadays.
I mean, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, and I was actually going to go investigate that case. I was doing pickup interviews for, at the time, it might have been Out of the Blue, but I think it eventually transitioned into I Know What I Saw. And I was in Phoenix, and it was late 2008. Late 2008. I was in Phoenix, and I was doing pickup interviews of that massive flyover. New witnesses were coming forward, willing to go on camera. Families that were on their lawn, lying on their backs, watching this boomerang shape. It was so big, it took minutes. Moving super slowly, analyzing the compartments and the metal, and I was doing follow-up interviews for that for a film I did, I Know What I Saw. And then I was going to go to O'Hare. And I was in touch with a couple of people, United Airlines, and they were like, maybe going to consider going on camera if I disguise but that was all I could get on it. But I was like, wow, this is really compelling. And then I got a phone call.
I can't look at you right now.
So I canceled my trip to O'Hare, which would have been really cool because it only happened 2 years prior.
Let me see if I can take another couple of hits.
Right, because I know that photograph exists.
And we'll get back to the game.
I bet there's an MIB story behind that photograph. You know,
If anybody's there, I appreciate you.
So we jumped on a plane.
I stream every day, except for Wednesday.
And that was like, I mean, the whole time they had a town hall meeting, like the town.
We play mainly Overwatch here.
The night before,
I hope to have some people come by to chat with, but until then, I'm gonna just yap into the void, and smoke on my pipe here. So cheers.
Ability to hover out of sight, blink of an eye, blah 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 blah. And so when I arrived, and that aired live. When I arrived, like the next day or the day, yeah, it was probably the next day, 24 hours later. There's a little funny side note to that. I can tell you or not, but the whole town knew who I was because I was on the night before.
Wow!
So I suddenly arrived, and they were like, "Oh
Celebrity.
my God, James Fox!" I had access to everybody.
Oh,
right?
cool.
Everybody wanted to meet, and that's when I got to meet probably one of the best witnesses ever, and that's Ricky Sorrells. To this day, he's one of the most compelling. He didn't want to come forward. It took me 8 months to get him to finally go on camera.
Wow!
And he's
one with a gun.
He was one of the gun. He stood under the craft and he examined the metal of the craft through his scope, and he almost pulled the trigger to see if that bullet was going to ricochet off it or something. But he said he was a metal worker, and he's like, it didn't have any rivets or welds or folds, like it was just like a mold. And then he talked about these recessed cones. I mean, Ricky Sorrells is one of the top. How many people do you know that stood under a UFO?
Excuse me.
It
Shit.
was so big you couldn't see the edge of it in any direction. He goes, you could have landed an airplane on that damn thing.
That's a ceiling outside.
And when it took off, he said, had I blinked, I would have missed it. And it said it went from a hover right above his head, and it went off at an angle like this. He goes, it didn't go like this. It just went like this. And I said, well, describe the speed. He goes, had I blinked, I would have missed it. It went from here to the stars in the blink of an eye.
You know, I seen no nuts, bolts, rivets, seams, no welds, none of this. It looked like a piece of sheet metal. You know, it wasn't shiny. It was a dull, I don't know what you call it, matte finish maybe. And this is what I had a hard time with, was if something was to leave, in my mind, it should pivot up and go, like an airplane would. This did not do that. This stayed completely flat, and it went at a 45-degree angle away. And it took off at such a high rate of speed that no way I can describe it is if I would have blinked, I would have thought it just disappeared.
Whoa.
Great case.
He got spooked too.
He got very spooked. Very, very spooked.
This is a common thread here in this interview.
Big, tough Texan, armed to the teeth.
Yeah.
And he was spooked.
How did that happen?
Well, there were a number of things that were happening to him at the time, and that's probably one of the reasons why he wouldn't. He met with me, and he would tell me what happened. He took me to the forest. He took me to the exact location where it happened. I was like, oh my God, this guy's testimony is golden. Like, this is so rare that you get to talk to somebody who stood under a UFO and examined it with a scope. Like, whoa, right? I mean, you don't get that many moments in your entire 30-year career. I was like, this guy's amazing. And he was like, the military was flying over they had helicopters flying over his house at all hours of the morning. He said he was running out in his underwear and his shotgun. They'd light him up like daylight, spotlight. He called the local Air Force base. He said, you guys got to stop flying your helicopters over my house. And they said, that's our airspace. We'll do what the hell we want. And we suggest you stop talking about what you saw. That's what they said to him. And I talked to the police department. I mean, that's a whole nother story. I don't know if we're going to go down that whole rabbit hole, but you can check it out. I know what I saw is out there. You can watch it. It's an amazing case. Amazing case.
That sounds incredible. Before we get into, first of all, thank you for sharing all this. This is amazing.
Yeah,
I could do this all day. I do want to eventually get into some questions. So we have interns here. We call them interns. And they pay a monthly subscription. And we get some of their questions, which we're going to ask you in a second. But before I get into that, I got two questions to get through here.
Yep.
And I really want to get through these. One is a little lighthearted, and one is something we touched on the top of this episode. But first is, just for anyone out there, what TV show or movie or like fictional made thing do you think, in your opinion, is the most closely related to the phenomenon?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that because of the tie-in with Hynek?
Yes.
And, Valet and
yeah, you look at those, you look at even the description of the entities, those came directly out of Project Blue Book files.
Wow.
And like, Spielberg's little way of saying that is having, Hynek have a cameo appearance smoking a cigar, right? Or a pipe, yeah, during the encounter. But even down to Richard Dreyfuss' face being burned, those came Close Encounter of the First Kind, right? You see a UFO. Close Encounter of the Second Kind, it interacts with the environment, burns someone's face, leaves imprints to the ground, affects plant life, whatever, radar photographs. And then you got Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Well, those came directly out of, he was a consultant, as was Jacques Vallée.
Yep.
And Jacques Vallée, his character was portrayed. And you'll talk to a lot of witnesses that go, that's what I saw. I saw that exact orb, or I saw that, So that was the most realistic, in my opinion, film, ever made. And again, those came right out of, I don't know about the chandelier, but pretty cool stuff.
Well, the chandelier I've heard of. I have someone who's had a picture of something similar, which is interesting. You say that, but it is interesting. How much do you think Spielberg knows? The guy's a fan, dude. He's been putting out
No question.
consistent
No question.
UFO ET
No
docs.
question. No question. I actually have a letter from Spielberg that was written to Larry King about me and my movie.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'll get you. I could probably. Yeah. Excuse me. Remind me. I can get you a copy of it.
Great.
So, Larry King. I don't talk about this that often. And I talk about it now because I told Spielberg's publicist, I'll think of his name in a second, that I was planning on going public, and unless I heard from him, I'm going public with it because I sat on it for 10 years. Larry King had sent a copy, a rough cut of I Know What I Saw to Steven Spielberg, and it was like, hey, this is the real life Close Encounters. You should check it out. And then a couple days later, I get a call from I got a call from an agency informing me that Steven Spielberg was going to watch my movie. It was kind of weird. Like, I just got this call from the agency. It wasn't from Larry King's office. It was actually from someone at the same agency. And they were like, Mr. Fox, just wanted to inform you this is so-and-so over at the so-and-so agency that Steven Spielberg is about to watch your movie. And it was like 10 in the morning. I was like, really? Wow. God, that's cool. So I was like, well, let me know how it goes. And I called my dad. I was like, Dad, you're not going to believe this. Steven Spielberg's watching I Know What I Saw right now. This is amazing. And my dad's like, well, come on down. Let's have tea together. So I went down to my dad's house and we had tea and we're having tea. And I'm like, my movie right now. I'm like, whoa, you know. And then I get a phone call like 2 hours later, whatever. And Cesaria, I think her name was, at the agency. And she's like, well, Steven watched the movie. Okay, well, what happened? She's like, well, he wrote a letter to Larry King. And that was it. I said, he watched the movie, and then he wrote a letter to Larry King? She goes, yeah. I just wanted to let you know. I was like, okay, thanks. Then about a week later, I get a call. I think it was Avriel Gallagher, probably. She's like, we got something for you. I was like, it came from Steven Spielberg. I was like, oh my gosh, tell me what, we're gonna FedEx it to you. So I was like, cool. Yeah, so gave her the address, and like a day later, I lived in a small town at the time, and the FedEx driver was like, James Fox, you're not gonna believe this. He came running up to my door. He goes, you got a letter from Larry King. It's a FedEx from Larry King's office. I was like, yeah, and guess what? It's a letter from Steven Spielberg about a UFO doc. He goes, can I watch you open it? I was like, yeah, so we sat there and I ripped the thing open, and there's a letter from Steven Spielberg talking about the movie, talking about, despite the fact that I've made so much attention to the phenomenon or, UFOs, the subject matter, I unfortunately have never seen a UFO, and that is so unfair. I hope that you will continue reporting, blah, 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 blah. So I had a quote from Steven Spielberg about my movie in writing. And
his handwriting, the original letter.
Yeah, I have the original letter.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, it was typed and signed. And so so I contact his publicist. Can't believe I can't remember his name right now. I'm sorry. And I said, I could look it up. And I said, hey, I've got, I want to use it. Oh, we don't endorse movies. I said, no, that's not what I'm saying. I said, he already gave me I have the quote. You have the quote? I said, yeah. He goes, well, what do you mean you have the quote? I said, well, Larry King sent me the letter. Larry King gave you the letter? I was like, yeah, and I'd like to use it. Could you imagine having a quote from Steven Spielberg back in the day on a UFO doc?
Insane.
Like,
All right, here we go.
Guy that I was working with goes, dude, that's the
Of course, it's a dog round. I don't think I have enough ammo. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What do we do here? I might have enough. I was gonna say, I might have enough if I kill them all with one round. But I missed a couple of times there. Okay, thank God.
Just so you know, I intend to go public with that letter. It's been
I
10 years.
want to turn the video up that I'm watching. Well, that we have on.
I published it a lot. I mean, I put it out there. I should put it out there more recently, but I'll give it to you.
That is so cool.
Isn't that crazy?
That is amazing. And
I know.
And good for you. I think you made the right call not putting it out, like ethically.
Yeah.
You know, I
The
think
spirits come to aid us.
I think he knows how much that's worth.
Yeah.
Putting his name on anything. You know what I mean? So you know, and had he wanted to put his name on it, I think he would let you know. But I think that's, you know, it sounds to me like his way of sort
How
of
much?
saying,
4K,
hey, this is a
no.
great movie without saying, hey, this is a great movie. You know?
I mean, the weight of his
Hey, type the sign.
You had an unhappy ending.
You know, so that goes a long way.
Unhappy ending.
Finish strong, Charlemagne.
The intern inquiry.
I am possessed by the power of the Emperor.
Buddy, you're distracting me.
You into the skiff for the
Cat,
second
please.
time.
Yeah.
I love you. What are you doing?
Because you recently
What are you doing?
got invited
Yeah.
into a skiff.
Oh, you're a good boy.
And I could say, is that the Pentagon?
So I went to the Pentagon
Oh, fuck you.
Send you to your ancestors.
Run.
Exactly why I went there.
You bring me great honor.
But we're both going after the same thing.
Buddy, please.
And I'm helping them acquire
Get
the same
down.
footage. And I will be able to.
What are
I'm
you
not trying to
doing?
be Sneaky,
Buddy.
or secretive. I can't jeopardize those contacts, and we're working together right now. And a lot of people think
Buddy.
like, oh, well, now you're working with some people on the inside. Well, people are people, and there's some good people and some bad people, and some people that actually legitimately want this information out.
I'm playing a game and it's like he knows it. Because he's going at my computer.
Got me into a
Like, I give him a lot of attention.
I had to do a 48-hour background check on Drive. It was like a scene out of a movie.
So it's like, dude, please.
Meeting up the gentleman, they're just like the kind of guy that I expected. The suit, the
I
haircut,
need
the
some me
jawline.
time sometimes, you know?
The guy could have been, you know,
Pets
had
don't
he had
understand.
those, could have been
Well, he does, because he gets upset whenever I try to pet him when he's having me
I
time.
kill you.
security, and they're coming the heck because I was going to get a flight back, and I had all my bags. And, oh my god, everything. And they did a background check.
How are you feeling?
I was feeling a little stressed.
This is a big deal.
Big deal for me.
Mule
For someone who's
kick.
been trying to get to the center of the maze.
Yeah, and I was trying to like, so I went through,
I don't remember if you can have more than the 4 perks.
I mean, my god, they were going through everything. I was like, I don't think
I have a feeling, for some reason, that it's 4.
do that. Then I get this badge.
But I'll try. I would like
So I get this badge. And then I have to go, they have this like, glass.
fast sprint. I forgot what the fuck they call it.
Only one person goes
You
through
lack
it.
focus.
Maybe 5 or 6. All
Jesus Christ, Takio. He is tacky. Takio.
You step in with his 2 little feet marked. And then the other one would open, and then you go through that. And then you have to walk over to the airport. I don't know.
Strike was weak.
Yeah, this might be like
So we do that. And come to the other side of that. And then I was like, excuse me, I take a picture
Turn to darkness.
Return to darkness. No.
And
No. Get the fuck out of my face. In round 13, of course. The luckiest round. That's why I'm alive right now.
You had an unhappy ending. Not on this day, tormented soul.
door looked like a bank vault almost. Whoa. And the door, he opens the door. You walk in.
And it didn't do fucking thing. Oh shit.
And I was thinking like a skip would be more like a secure like little room with a table.
Yeah.
I have enough to upgrade,
Weapon is low on
but
honor.
I'm running.
I have no ammo. I have no honor.
Security compartmentalized
Facility.
information facility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep.
The force of 1,000 wombats. You die. You kill me? No, I kill you.
Anyway,
Come on, buddy.
this gentleman's walking. He's Air Force Special Investigation.
Damn, that's a lot of crawlers.
And we'll get up to
I was wondering what that power up was, but I don't think
the one on the left is closed. The one on the left
I got it in time.
And there's
Shit.
an oblong shape.
I will use my bare hand.
2 women and 3 men in suits, nicely dressed, having a meeting. And
I'm gonna upgrade M16
We'll never be the
first.
same. Now this
I don't know if
is what
that's
I'm
the
talking
move
about.
fully ease
or
off into
what.
the conversation.
Oh,
I'm looking
but
at them and
I feel
what
like
else was I supposed to do?
maybe.
So I was like, kind of eavesdropping, and then they looked over at me, and this guy got up quickly and abruptly and closed the door in my face. But I was like, well, how could I not look? I mean, you know, they're having a conversation.
Was the conversation? I'm not gonna ask you what they said, but was the conversation anything pertinent? Or was it just
The unholy shall kneel before the might of the honorable.
The guy closed the door, and then
You will not stop till you are all destroyed.
we went in.
Damn, I forgot it was full auto.
When this other guy from Air Force Operations, I guess he's part of the task force.
That's a lot of ammo this thing's gonna spit out. I have to be careful.
there the entire time as well?
John Koslowski was
Especially with double tap. Oh, fuck.
The whole time. So he was.
John, the Air Force
That's the reason why I got it, right?
John was only but because I started talking about specific cases, I was like, where did these men black come from? They had this omnipresence, global, like who are they? And they didn't make any comments. I was like, I was told the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, but I don't know. And then I said, I was like, well, you guys do know that, you know, obviously, in these cases, UFO reports can be down to convention channel. I mean, it's like there's a
No, 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 no. What the fuck is hitting me? Fucking 6 zombies. Ooh. Broke that zombie's knees.
Creature is possessed.
he was telling me my hand
Strike was weak.
it was amazing. I just said, like, what you say I said that.
That's his way of telling you.
Yes, it was his way of getting the work done. My hands are tied.
On this day, tormented soul.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Then I was talking about all the different cases. This case and that case. And then he had, and they showed me the stuff that they
You had an unhappy ending.
yeah, I got to see some stuff. I was like, you need to contact this witness before you release that because that's not going to do that. And I also said you guys can go. No, we're not going anywhere.
Murak, focus.
It was amazing. I'm still in touch with one of them.
You have been purified.
Do you have a? Thanks for sharing that. By the way.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that thing cannot ever have been human.
You know, first of all, it's really nice to hear that. You know,
I'm kind of tempted to upgrade the shotgun, but
Arrow's got a bad rap.
Oh yeah, Sean Kirkpatrick was.
I want to go for something that's not a wall weapon.
Of the same mindset that are like, oh, this is just a big psyop, big disinformation thing. They're just gonna slow leak. They know.
This
Okay, fuck it, hell yeah. First box.
Hear about Arrow in the community.
I think
so
that's well worth it. Now I might be more inclined to get rid of my M16 if it's something else.
I feel is such
Like
a
a
strong
RPK.
message
Give me an
that
RPK.
needed to be said.
Yeah.
So that's really.
Oh, yeah, one more thing. Really cool.
I will rid the earth of this plague.
Give me RPK.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
I wonder.
Give me
I have it
RPK.
in my phone. And he said, you know, little.
Give me the
backyard
fucking
film in my
RPK.
life. You know, no. What's that? He goes, your film, The Phenomenon, is mandatory viewing if you want to work for the UAP task
I'm gonna
force.
try different
watch The
methods
Phenomenon.
with this thing.
Get out of
Swear
town.
on my life, that's what he said to me.
Please give me the
Dude, that is
RPK.
the
I was
coolest.
like, wow. I know.
That's better than the Spielberg endorsement in my
It's
book.
pretty awesome. It was so funny too.
The spaz.
Yeah, and you're.
That is
help-
tempting.
help-
Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm taking the spaz. I don't care. Alright. Now.
What can there happen? Because people go, oh,
RPK? Fuck you. That is like the worst thing to get.
There's some really good people on the inside. There are. Look, we have people going back to the 1940s that wanted this stuff to come out, right?
Yeah.
Guy that-
Jesse Marshall.
Yeah, the guy that ran Project Blue Book during the incursion over, during the invasion.
I don't know if the
of the
spaz
Czechoslovakians in July.
upgraded is good, but I like it.
The guy that was head of Blue Book at the time wrote a book about it.
We're not really going for any kind of crazy high ground. We're just having fun, seeing how far we can get, and then moving on to another map.
John Stanford is the one that gets the best
Just kind of reliving the old golden age.
But there's another gentleman that wrote the book, head of Project Blue Book in 1952. You can look him up. I'm just drawing a blank right now. But you've got former head of the CIA, Roscoe Hillencarter, quote in the New York Times, talked about, you know, there have been people over the decades that have made an effort to
I gotta get Black Ops 2
all decided to have
at some point. That's a really good one too.
people criticize Lou Elizondo, always a deep state. It's like, okay,
I think I like the
all-
gun
everything
choices
I've heard you say,
in this better though,
aligned
personally.
with my field research. Like, even the fact that he testified under
Actually, that's tough.
Rid the earth
I don't
of this
know.
plague.
actually, that's kind of a separate
Have been purified.
work at the UAP task force, but
Black Ops 2 had some really fun guns.
But in any case, and he's testified.
There is no tomorrow for you.
Double points. That's pretty phenomenal. You were there with me.
Yep.
It was pretty
Now we
phenomenal.
can continue the fight.
Say that, like, people are people, and there are some reasons, you know, decades, justification potentially for some secrecy. I disagree with it now.
I did waste 5,000 points, I guess, on the M16 upgrade.
Yeah, they might have just said, hey, let's just hold on a second. Let's not.
We have taken care of the crawler.
The deeper they dug, the more they probably were like, even if you have definitive proof bodies, crash materials, it still doesn't mean everything. Yes,
And there's probably, I mean, maybe I'll pose this question to you, but for me, I do believe that there is probably some framework outside.
Oh, fucking fuck.
This day, commit its soul.
That works, that works. I don't care.
Have the bigger picture.
As long as I don't go down, I'm good.
You're running.
Always counter your enemy's movements.
and that was.
Oh, that thing cannot ever have been human.
But
I mean, it sounds. Yeah, and that's been, I think, a lot of people's suspicions. Whatever's happening,
Cannot survive
you
this.
know, there's a very
Well-
few amount of people at the center of this level. There's lots of people at the center. I bet. Yeah, what'd you hear?
We can upgrade. And I think the ray gun is already kind of powerful enough for now.
Ammunition.
Oh, fuck.
you know, it's a little scary that we don't have control of airspace. But I've done that for a while.
You have an unhappy ending.
If they can somehow balance
People that I've talked to that have had face-to-face really dramatic UFO encounters.
per hit points, like where you get a thing of 10 points for hitting a zombie per bullet.
Decades ago.
I hope they can bring that back and balance it or do whatever they have to.
Say that that's not
They have that with the new upgrade systems and shit. I gotta rub my
But
eyes.
for the most part, it's fairly benign. In fact, it's really interesting, and I was like, in retrospect, I looked back on it 10 years after that, I did an interview with Parviz Jafari, who's an Iranian general, and he had this dramatic UFO encounter.
You kill me? No, I kill you. I'm still that author with the Arasaka.
And tried to shoot it.
Oh fuck, I forgot I gotta link it again.
I know it is. It's incredible.
It's been so long.
At the time when George Bush had called it the axis of evil, the whole lawn, and I was like, oh God, no, he's not going to really get the visas to come, And he was reflecting on the case years later, on camera, to me. He tried to shoot it, and it didn't end well when he tried to shoot it.
True warrior.
I do
It's no
want
weapon.
to try for the RPK one more time.
Biggest regret
It's
was that I
not the
didn't try to make
RPK.
peaceful contact. I tried to shoot it. What would have happened had I tried to make peaceful contact? And he was really thinking hard about that one. And that's, anything that we can't identify, we just assume as a threat. And we take that position, that position of aggression. That doesn't really end well.
Yeah. It's kind of like the witness in Texas when he had him in a scope,
Yes.
and he's like,
He said
probably
he-
not a good idea.
Was on the trigger, and he was...
Yeah, I could start doing the Galactic War. Yeah, what's going on?
better not do that.
All right, we're gonna get into some questions here. Let me all right, while I go set up the camera.
I will honor this machine by slaying many. A weapon is an extension of one's own honor.
Including new merch. We've got these amazing Area 52 snapbacks with the embroidered logo on the front, as well as some brand new patches that you can add to your favorite jacket or shirt or whatever. I left a link in the description where you can pick them up, and thank you for the support. All right, back to the video.
This is so cool. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've read through a bunch of it, and there's a whole bunch of really interesting, just fringe cases that you would never otherwise hear about, right? And I find that to be one of the most fascinating things.
The phenomenon.
Right there.
Right there. The phenomenon.
Long time ago, too.
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, this is 60 years ago almost.
Your strike was weak.
As you were saying.
Yeah, we'll bring in some of the questions here.
Let's do it.
So one of which you answered already. But here's one from our Discord.
Dog run.
Helper.
Hell has sent it down.
Says if you could travel back.
You may not take me.
History. Which one would you choose? Why?
Or April. Because it involves we got out of the spacecraft. I've thought about that many times. There's somewhere hidden, and I have witnessed aliens getting out of the spacecraft. Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible.
The
I
spirits
thought
come
about
to
Pershing
aid
Patrol,
us.
but that involved the military and aggression and people's lives threatened.
Feeling good. I think we're gonna make it far. I don't want to jinx myself, but
And if you look at the topography,
I think we're doing fine.
they actually picked a spot that, like down in the.
I'm pretty happy with where we are right now, even.
They chose
There is no victory.
Plenty of maps to
Only
hit.
death.
land and just, you know what I mean? Kind of interesting. You look at what the phenomenon and then you look at what the phenomenon doesn't do, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah, they're not showing up on, the White House lawn.
It got closer.
Yeah, 52. But they are showing up in space. Yes. All right, we got another one here. This is. Oh no, this one. It's gonna show up anyway, but we already got to, so we'll get to a different one. 1 second.
Love the colors. That's so pretty.
Okay. This is a really, really good question. This is from Stan B. And Stan says, "Who's the
We have been purified.
you would get in front of the camera if they were allowed to break their NDA?" Yeah, I would agree with that too. I'd love to get him in the skit.
I have to be careful what I say here, but
rid the earth of this plague. It is rotten from the inside. Oh, that thing cannot ever have been human.
I mean, from the interviews he even shared in the program.
Not on this day, tormented soul. You bring me great honor.
Things if I talk about, I'll go to jail. You seen things that if you talk about, you go to jail?
You had an unhappy ending.
Enough said. Wow. That's a lot of weight.
I remember asking myself,
You lack focus.
it's like, be careful.
My honor is bigger than yours. I evil beast.
What the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially I told you last night that I've been laughed at and ridiculed. Like that's why when I was watching David
Back to nothing with you.
I was staring at my screen and my son was trying to
Destruction reigns on the unholy.
I had my phone and I was sitting on this little leather sofa and I was staring at it and I had tears pouring down the sides of my face, just pouring down like a river for the whole time because I was like, I knew it, damn it, I knew it, and I got laughed at and ridiculed and made fun of. Testifying under
There is more tomorrow for you. Who is responsible for this?
That's why I believed him. You know what I mean? And
This is probably not a big place to do that. Oh fuck! Shit! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's alright, it's okay.
Come on, good.
We had a little revive. Oh, fuck.
Return to darkness.
Making our stand here.
Continue on string. I shall continue.
Any perks now. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Fuck shit.
I have fallen into
dead.
darkness.
18, not bad. That was fun. I kind of fucked myself training the zombies in the stair area there. Easy to get cornered, I feel like.
And we don't always get it right. We try to, and I certainly try to.
I'm getting tired, but I do want to keep playing.
Never, no amount of money in the world would get me to do that.
We're gonna swap maps.
Pray to God that other first-hand witnesses will come forward as a result of that. And that's a big part of what I'm reporting. Now we're getting to the point where, we're not just dealing with unidentified objects in the sky anymore. Now we're dealing with beings on the ground and possible hardware in a lab and biologics.
I don't like that term.
I don't either.
Can we just say aliens?
Yes.
I don't care if they're from here. I'm still calling them aliens. They're alien to me.
We call them NHI.
Yeah, NHI. Non-human intelligence works, but you know what? A dolphin is NHI too.
Good point.
You know what I mean? Like,
Good point.
aliens is good, and let's make UAP UFO again.
Yeah.
I don't want to do Doritos.
This is the last question here from the interns here.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
We'll have to see.
No comment.
In a secure environment only.
We are in a secure environment.
That's right. Anything goes here. This is from Disco. It says, James, straight up question about UAP, UFO, Les OVNI.
Les OVNI.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is?
Good question. And I've given this a lot of thought. And I almost called the phenomenon all of the above. That was a name that I was entertaining. I wasn't quite latched onto it, but I was like, it's something I thought about for a couple of weeks. And the reason being is I was like, interdimensional time traveler, periodic visitation, interplanetary, maybe it's just all of that.
First, I must find a power switch.
And so I thought about that. But I would say
There will be silence.
the most, as this is all speculation, but I would say informed speculation that the only conclusion that I've really drawn
Check my
is
sugar.
that, and I've said this before, there's an omnipresent intelligence
Okay.
that
It's going a
has
little
the ability
high
to
now.
manifest itself in a multitude of ways. Like it's nuts and bolts, but it's also psychic.
Too high.
And
but-
they have a sense of humor at times. A lot of the people within the scientific community that I've met with had given me a number of instances where I was like, that's a bit of a relief. They have a sense of humor. That's kind of cool. But that it's an omnipresent, it's everywhere, right? And that it can just, because some people describe like it just appeared out of nowhere, you know, or it just disappeared, like it almost disappeared in place. Like, you know, maybe they're operating in a slightly different dimension, and maybe you just, like a radio, you adjust the frequency a little bit and all of a sudden something appears. It's always there, but you have to adjust, you know, maybe it's that. Maybe it's time travelers. Maybe it's us coming back from the future, or maybe it's all the above. I honestly don't know, but whatever it is, it's far more complex than just interplanetary visitation. No question.
Great answer. All right. That was an amazing 2 hours.
Do you remember my favorite color?
Blue.
Yes, but it's a dark blue.
Dark blue, sorry.
Yeah, I like dark blue.
This is kind
Midnight blue. I was looking at that. It's like a kind of a grayish, you know.
Do you mind if I keep you for an extra 20 after this, just for the extra
Let's
little
do it.
interview? Okay.
Sure, let's do it.
But before we do that, if you guys want to check out anything at all, I highly encourage you to binge watch this man's just library. Go down the rabbit hole. One of my personal favorite documentaries of all time is Moment of Contact. We talked about Varginha stuff. If you haven't seen that, please go watch that. Go watch The Phenomenon. Go watch The Program. Go watch everything under the sun that James Fox has ever put out. You will not be disappointed, and you will be more well-informed than anyone else. And so, highly encourage you guys to check that out. I'll leave James's links below, including his X, his Instagram, all the above.
When you say my ex, you mean literally?
Yeah,
No, I'm
Twitter.
kidding.
Yeah, I hate
I'm
saying
kidding.
it, but I also don't want to sound like I'm not hip. Yeah, I'll leave all the links below. And if you guys want to tune in for an extra little discussion, we're gonna go deep into the skiff, and this will not be public, but it'll be available to the interns for $5 a month. You guys know the deal. You can do all that. Join the Discord, join the Patreon, join the memberships, join the conversation, and we'll see you guys on the next video. James, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, we can take a little break. You want to take a little break? You want to keep steamrolling through?
Let's roll.
All right, that's right. We're right here.
On December 12th, 2024, around 6:05 p.m. Eastern. I walk right past my balcony window. I live right across the river from the Newark.
So I just kind of wanted to call in and share this, but I dated a girl for about 8 years, and her dad was always a super serious, retired military guy. He was a senior master sergeant for Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and he'd never really been the type to joke or play around. I made a comment one night at a little family function about aliens and kind of took it as a joke, and he looks me square in the eyes and says, "What, you think they don't exist?" and proceeds to tell me I was a fool for not believing in them, that they in fact housed biologics and craft at Wright-Patterson for many years.
Be gone,
I never heard him speak of it again. It was probably just the sauce that night at the function, but definitely an eye-opener for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris Ramsey, and welcome back. Well,
That guy's
isn't an
been
episode of
shot
Deep.
and
I wanna
dead
take a
in
second
some
to
kind of
update
ditch
on
in
the
Arizona
happening
somewhere.
on Area 52,
Now?
and also why I won't be posting a long-form podcast.
That's funny.
I
Some
just
dude
got back
just
from a trip to Spain. I kind of go there every
lost in
year
the
with a group of
sauce, giving
musicians.
away
We hang
military
out, trade
secrets like
and just
that.
kinda
The fuck?
relax and unwind. And if you want to check out sort of
I kind of in a way hope
documentary that I
that's
edited
fake,
for
just for
this
that
trip,
reason,
which
because
features Jesse Michaels, by the way, who hung out with me in Spain during these
that's fucking
10
crazy.
days. Go check it out on, I left the link below, you guys can go watch that video. But something else drew me to this area of Spain, a case involving not only UFO
Drinking is
sightings over a
bad,
military
okay.
radar base, but also an alleged
Kills you
encounter
and your brain.
with a tall Nordic being at that very base. Now, what's interesting and the synchronicity that I found is that I go to this thing every year, and it's a beautiful part of Catalonia. It's just on the coast, the Mediterranean. It's absolutely paradise. But overlooking this natural paradise is this very synthetic and militarized sort of sphere that sits atop the highest peak. And this radar base that sits up there actually holds a few secrets. And although this was a vacation, I could not help myself. I had to document some of the
Shut his
weird
good
and high
hand off.
strangeness that has occurred around this radar base while there. I also had the opportunity to interview the main witness.
Embrace defeat. Hell
And that'll be
demands.
coming up in a few weeks. I haven't had time to sit down and really crunch the edit as I just got back. I'm a little bit jet lagged. Just wanted to fill you in on one of the investigations that is currently ongoing, among many others, by the way. I mostly save these updates for the interns during our membership-only videos, which we post weekly. I thought I'd let you guys in on some of it at least, and maybe, hopefully, entice you to go over there and check it out for yourselves. As this channel grows, so much my willingness to let go of some of the menial work. I'm very, very picky when it comes to the quality of this channel. If you hadn't already noticed, the attention to detail that I have is borderline psychotic.
My ancestors, shower us with gifts.
To the B-roll, to the research that goes into every one of these topics and guests. I treat this channel with the utmost care and love and respect that this phenomenon deserves, that this subject deserves. But by doing all of this and editing all of these videos and doing all the research, and it's
I usually go the other way
I
first.
knew going into this that I was getting into something that would consume 99, maybe even 110% of my time.
Since I'm coming back and trying to play the game again, enjoying the golden age, why not go
I do understand the repercussions
the
of
other way?
pouring your heart and soul into a project like this. And I don't want to make
Little
some of the
new with
mistakes
the
that I've
old.
made in the past and burning myself out. So I am currently working with a brand new editor. Well, brand new. This is somebody that I've worked with in the past that will be helping me with some of the videos starting next month, which is great. So finally, I'll have a little bit
Try throwing a
more
grenade.
room to actually focus my attention on some of these long-form sort of investigations that I've been, due to the lack of extra hands, neglecting. So bringing people on board doesn't correlate with less work. It just means it allows me, you know, to have time to work more. Or work differently, I would say. All right, enough of the Area 52 updates. I want to also address a few things. This is not a news channel. You know, at the early days of Debriefed and the early days of Area 52, we tended to cover a lot more of the topical situations happening throughout the world in the UFO community. But I didn't want to spend my time chasing ambulances. I find it highly stressful. I find it to be, honestly, just to be exhausting. Because as you break these stories, I mean, wait a week and you find out that they're a psyop, or that someone's lying, or that, you know, new information comes to light. And there's just a never-ending slew of news to keep up with. So it's not something that I comfortably wanted to tackle, although some of it becomes relevant to past investigations, which we can then correlate and find connections through. But for the most part, I'd love to just focus on, you know, some of the stuff that already exists. I think that's where some gems are buried deep. Whether it's the tale of the police officer Herbert Shermer getting abducted, or the meeting with Lacerda Files, or the alien interview with Errol, according to Matilda McElroy, these stories to me are always so much more compelling than 99% of what's happening currently in the UFO zeitgeist. That being said, while in Spain, there was a congressional hearing. And I won't touch on this too much for two reasons. One, I didn't watch the entire thing. I picked up the cliff notes. I just haven't had time to really catch up. I'm going to. But two, I think it's great. I think it's great that we talk about it in the spotlight. I think it's great that people like George Knapp, you know, have a platform after being a champion for ufology for decades, you know, going to Russia, retrieving some secret files, like all these things, breaking the Bob Lazar story. So I think it was well-deserved that he was up there. I love that. And as for the other first or second
holy shit.
About, it's a nothing burger, or it's this, or it's that. Listen, we're talking about it. That's what counts, okay? When it comes to this topic, the more we talk about it, whether it's through these fantastical stories, whether it's through boots on the ground investigations and speaking to witnesses, or whether it's in Congress, or whether it's News Nation breaking another whistleblower, whatever it is, we're talking about it. You know, if there's one thing that brings us all together,
buddy,
whether it's skeptics, whether it's believers, whether it's experiencers, whether it's witnesses, whether it's what have you, is the fact that we're all interested in this phenomenon. We're all looking for the truth at the end of the day. And people go about that in different little ways. And one of those ways happens to be through these congressional hearings, which to me, you know, is the least interesting, I'll admit. Has become the least interesting, I will say. But that doesn't mean it's irrelevant. And it doesn't mean it isn't important. It's just, personally, I'd rather speak to a farmer, you know, than to like a lawmaker, we'll say. It's just kind of how I think my road to disclosure is paved. But that being said, I am so thankful for people like UAP Gerb. I'm so thankful for people like Jesse Michaels, and even all the other podcasts that are out there that are covering this stuff relentlessly. I'm so thankful that they're there, that I get to sort of absorb my news through these really hardworking podcasters like the UAP Files, Vetted, Disclosure Team. I know I'm missing a whole bunch here. Weaponized, Matt Ford, anybody. Pick your poison. I know a lot of people have differing opinions when it comes to the content they consume or the creator that creates that content, and that's totally fine. You're totally entitled to having your own opinion. But I'm just thankful that people are out there speaking about it. Now, how they speak about it may or may not be your cup of tea, but I think it's important that we at least recognize that there are people working diligently towards getting what they feel is the truth. That's all. That's all I wanted to say about that. Like an astronaut walking a tightrope, we need to seek a balanced perspective. And in order to do so, we need extremes. We need everything. We need the good, the bad, the ugly. Give it all to me. Give me the weird, the fantastical. Give me the lies. Give me the truth. Give me everything. Let me catalog it. Let me sort it out. Let me find connections myself. And let me create hypotheses. And let me ponder these radical theories. But let me do so without committing to anything. And I think that's something that is completely overlooked in today's day and age. Everybody expects you to have some binary differing opinion. I think it's just so important that we just collect information, allow people to give you that information, and then just sit back and see what type of connections we can make ourselves without necessarily concretizing a solid opinion and then being forced to defend it. Let's just suspend it all. Oh, I feel like I was channeling something right there. Speaking of which, what do you guys think of channelers? I'd be interested in having one on the podcast. I think it'd be an interesting conversation. maybe even someone like Bashar, or Abraham Hicks, I think it is, or
Buddy, stop.
any of these sort of really popular channelers. I would love to pick their brains. It's always been a really difficult thing for me to wrap my head around, mostly because of the packaging seems so silly. Of someone, you know, just kind of like almost in a state of possession, sort of spewing what seems like random words in a sequence of varying intonations. Just, well, today is the podcast where we...
Indeed, yes, we are here. Yes, we do have a message for you and your community in the world. There will be a shift that will happen on your planet. The frequency.
You know, like this type thing, that seems silly to me, but then the message itself has value. Like, it really does. Like, if you look into this stuff for even just a few minutes, you'll realize that, like, people like Bashar are extremely consistent with the amount of information, the quality of information that they present. So whether that's practiced or rehearsed sort of patter throughout the decades of them doing this, or if they are in fact sort of channeling something, or maybe they're just digging really deep within themselves. You know, I think it's a Carl Sagan quote that says, "We are so out of touch with our higher selves that when we hear a voice,
This is much better than my Hitler Youth
in our
knife.
minds, we think it's aliens." And I think that's just, I probably butchered that quote, but the sentiment sort of remains the same. But I would love to know what you guys think, because I think that could be perhaps some type of middle ground between interviewing an alien, which I still think is possible, by the way. I know some of you are out there being like, "You're crazy, Chris. You're never going to interview an alien." Says who? I do believe I will. I think one day I will. Maybe I won't even know it. Who knows? But maybe a good middle ground is to make contact through, you know, a channeler. I don't know. I'm just grasping here. You know, what else do I got to work with? This is why I'm here. All right, I'm reaching for the fantastical. I'm accepting everything. Let's go. Let's make it happen. Another thing that I wanted to address in the news is this. So the user by the name of Wow posted this on Twitter. Not sure if this is a mistake by the National Archives. I found a video with no audio attached to researchers going through documents and videos of photographs related to the Roswell incident in 1947. Did they forget to edit out this part showing pictures of debris and possibly a craft buried in the mesa? Are these the first pictures of the 1947 UFO crash site? Could be totally wrong. Worth checking. Now, this is extremely interesting because the craft, as you can see here, which kind of is a little bit hard to see, but if you look at the comparison to the drawings that the witnesses from the Roswell crash depicted, there is a stunning resemblance. Now, mind you, this could also be some type of jet.
Wait, is this someone
Crash landed,
grand?
an experimental plane, drone. I'm not saying it isn't that. I just think it's interesting that within the Roswell National Archive, this would pop up, and it does match the description of the Roswell craft. But not only that, here's where it gets a little eerie. About 10 to 20 feet away from this craft, someone pointed out that this kind of looks like a being. Like some type of mangled alien body that was ejected from this craft, which would, again, match what the witnesses said. Now let me know if any of that is ludicrous to you, or whether this merits further investigation, which I think it does. I think it's very interesting. Any information that we have, again, is just very welcome around here. I hope you enjoyed this little update. These are going to be very few, very far between, because we got a lot of stuff down the pipeline, which I am really excited to share with all of you. Check out area52.shop if you want to support us over here. Check out the memberships. Do all the things. But most of all, have an awesome weekend. And we'll see you guys next week for another episode. Peace and love.
December 12th, 2024, around 6:05 p.m. Eastern. I walk right past my balcony window. I live right across the river from the Newark FBI office, and I saw a massive 50-foot, approximately Fonta black boomerang go right past my window. Silent floated right across the river, right through the buildings downtown Newark.
Now I will hear them cry for mercy.
In a line on the back, made no noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Debrief. My name is Chris Ramsey, and today we're going to take a good hard look at a document submitted to the Paranet website in 1987 by none other than the godfather of conspiracy, John Lear. But before we do that, I would highly encourage you guys to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you do enjoy these uploads. And if you're listening on audio, one thing that you can do that costs absolutely nothing is leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform it is you're listening to this episode on. And, you know, maybe a comment on why it is you like these deep dives. It goes a very long way, actually, in helping us propel into a favorable algorithm on Spotify and iTunes, etc. And if you can't get enough of Area 52 Debriefed and the likes, head over to our membership. You can do so by becoming a member here on YouTube or going to patreon.com/Area52Investigations, where we upload weekly vlogs, behind the scenes, extra episodes, extended interviews. It is a vastly growing community where we continuously every day have deep discussions on the Discord, which, by the way, you can also join, and I'll leave all the links to that below. Folks, we've paid the bills. I think it's time to get into it. Okay, before I read these out, I will give you a brief history on Mr. Lear himself. So John Lear is a former aviation captain, a commercial pilot, but also happens to be the son of Learjet inventor Bill Lear. John Lear, until he passed away a few years ago, was one of the most prominent figures in the UFO landscape. He not only had multiple FAA certifications, but also flew on several missions for the CIA, which inevitably made him a little bit more credible when he came out with the information that someone he knew worked for a secret facility within the United States government at Area 51 called Section 4, otherwise known as S4. Yes, folks, he introduced the world to Bob Lazar.
Damn, he windmilled me.
Most famous
Fuck.
interview in ufology, I believe, to date.
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs.
My eyes are dry.
Terrestrial origin.
However, over time,
My everything's dry.
increasingly outlandish. He would go on rants about lunar bases, the moon being a hologram, and mind control projects. And while some admired him as a whistleblower, others felt his credibility waned as he got into more and more extreme conspiracies. And say what you want about the guy, but this guy was talking about mind control things before MK Ultra went public. He was also talking about underground military bases where they were reverse engineering alien craft before we even heard of Area 51. Now, there is an entire other side to this, is that he potentially could be a psyop, meaning that the government used him in an active disinformation campaign, which would not be unheard of. And in fact, John Lear admits to this. He says that there is a potential that they fed him false information, and that would muddy up the actual correct information that he was able to leak out. And that's the way a lot of these disinformation campaigns function, is that they will put out a vast majority of truth and insert only 1 or 2 fibs. But these fibs sounding so extreme and bizarre in nature that it makes you literally throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, well, I guess they're lying about everything. Now, what those lies are, I guess is up to the public to decide. And that's something we're going to try to get to the bottom of today, as we're going to read through a statement that he put out so many years ago in 1987, detailing the government's involvement with EBEs, or extraterrestrial biological entities, UFOs, the reverse engineering, and the government's role in future disclosure. This all begins with a nice cover letter. This is from John W. White. If I'm not mistaken, John White is also a UFO researcher, and he is just forwarding this document that was put up on their version of Reddit, essentially. And he's saying the following, dear somebody, I don't know who that is, but it says, I'm sending this astounding document about UFOs to you because I feel you will be interested and or have a need to know. I obtained it by downloading it from an electronic bulletin board called Paranet, which is headquartered in Arizona and has regional nodes. Paranet is dedicated to disseminating information about paranormal phenomena and acting as a forum for discussion. Memberships in Paranet is free and open to the public. All it takes is a computer and a modem. You can dial in at 603-837-0062. Then find the original node nearest you so your phone charges will be minimized. Sincerely, John White. And whoever this was directed to wrote underneath a few questions that my guess is he faxed back to this person back then and underlining Paranet and saying, who set this up? Who sustains it financially and why? Who benefits from those who really know things identifying themselves and their views via this bulletin board? I smell federal deceit. So even the person that this was sent to back in 1987 thought that this also was a psyop. And folks, we stand on the very shaky shoulders of a lot of conspiracy theorists before us. Let's get into his document. It starts by saying, John Lear has requested that the following file be published on Paranet. It is our philosophy to encourage debate on paranormal issues, no matter how controversial, and we welcome his input. The information contained in this file has not been verified by Paranet, nor do the opinions expressed herein necessarily reflect those of the administrator or other Paranet staff members. We can state, however, that John is who he says he is, and has numerous contacts in sensitive positions that could conceivably allow him to access information of this type. And that, folks, has been known for a very long time, is that John was working in the CIA and did say on numerous occasions that he was being fed information by people who were on the inside, or otherwise known as people in the program. So here is the statement. We begin. This is December 29th, 1987, folks. Almost 40 years to the day. That is insane. John Lear, a captain for a major U.S. airline, has flown over 160 different types of aircraft in over 50 different countries. He holds 17 world speed record in Learjet and is the only pilot ever to hold every airline certificate issued by the Federal Aviation Administration. Lear has flown missions worldwide for the CIA and other government agencies. A former Nevada state senator candidate, he is the son of William P. Lear, designer of the Learjet executive airplane, the 8-track stereo, and founder of Lear-Siegler Corporation. Lear became interested in the subject of UFOs 13 months ago after talking with United States Air Force personnel who had witnessed a UFO landing at Bentwaters Air Force Base near London, England, and 3 small aliens walking up to the wing commander. So the Lakenheath Bentwaters incident, now when saying, is it Lakenheath, I'm not sure, but that does sound familiar. Isn't that the current Air Force base that is being incurred by a lot of these unexplainable drone activities? So the Lakenheath Bentwaters incident was a series of radar and visual contacts with UFOs over air bases in eastern England on the night of August 13th and 14th in 1956. So it involved personnel from the Royal Air Force and the United States Air Force. I mean, some of these targets were detected approaching Bentwaters from the east at a speed estimated from 2,000 to 4,000 miles an hour. It passed overhead. A rapidly moving white light was observed from the ground while the pilot of a C-47 at 4,000 feet over Bentwaters reported a similar light had passed beneath his craft. At this point, Bentwaters alerted the U.S. tenanted RAF Lakenheath base 40 miles to the northwest to look out for targets. And then ground personnel at Lakenheath made visual sightings of several luminous objects, including 2 which arrived, made a sharp change in course, and appeared to merge before moving off. And so what Mr. Lear is getting to here, that it didn't stop with radar and visual sightings of a UFO, but that it continued with 3 small aliens walking up to the wing commander. All right, we carry on here. Note to the press, the government of the United States continues to rely on your personal and professional gullibility to suppress the information contained herein. Your cooperation over the past 40 years has exceeded our wildest expectations, and we salute you. The sun does not revolve around the earth. The United States government has been in business with little gray extraterrestrials for about 20 years. The first truth stated here got Giordano Bruno burned at the stake in 1600 AD for daring to propose that this was real. The second truth has gotten far more people killed trying to state it publicly than will ever be known. That is a dark fact right there. Wow. But the truth must be told. The fact that the Earth revolves around the sun was successfully suppressed by the church for over 200 years. It eventually caused a major upheaval in the church, government, and thought. A realignment of social and traditional values that was in the 1800s. Now, about 400 years after the first truth was pronounced, we must again face the shocking facts, the horrible truth. The government has been hiding from us for over 40 years. Unfortunately, the horrible truth is far more horrible than the government had ever imagined. In its effort to protect democracy, our government sold us to the aliens. And here's how it happened. But before I begin, I'd like to offer a word in the defense of those who bargained us away. They had the best of intentions. Well, you know that saying, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Germany may have recovered a flying saucer as early as 1939. General James H. Doolittle went to Sweden in 1946 to inspect a flying saucer that had crashed there in Spitsbergen. In 1947, President Truman established a group of 12 of the top military scientific personnel of their time. They were known as MJ-12, or Majestic 12.
The people that control this information is a organization that we know of as MJ-12.
Although the group exists today, none of the original members are still alive. The last one to die was Gordon Gray, former Secretary of the Army, in 1984. As each member passed away, the group itself appointed a new member to fill the position.
Okay, I don't think I'm gonna play anymore, so I'm gonna end the stream.
Several more saucer crashes in the late 1940s.
It's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning, so I figure it's a good time to go to bed. If anybody's there, I appreciate you coming by. I try to keep a chill stream, and might play a little bit more of this again tomorrow, but we'll definitely play some more Overwatch sometime tomorrow. I'm gonna try to stream a little bit earlier, but we'll see how that works out. So to anybody who sees this, love you and good night.
I highly recommend, but we did a deep dive on this person who said he basically worked for a secret branch of the government that did these crash retrievals. But he would say that, yeah, near Mexico and New Mexico, that's where they would go down. They